Aloha, my name is Matt DiGeronimo. I'm the Senior Managing Director at Floyd Mergers and Acquisitions in Honolulu, Hawaii. This video will expand upon the principles we discussed in the previous video entitled Business Valuation. I'm just going to take a few of the more subtle but very commonly occurring topics regarding business valuations. The first one, and just to make it very clear, there is no right answer on how much a business is worth. So I said it in the previous video, but it happens over and over and over again. It's worth repeating. There is no one equation. There's no one ratio that will tell you how much your business is worth. The only thing that will tell you how much your business is worth is what the buyer presents to you as their offer. And during the sales process, you, the seller, and us representing you will do our best to get inside the minds of the potential buyers to make sure that the end result is in your benefit. And how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we have to look at the types of buyers that are in the market. Not all buyers are created equal. Okay, so when God made buyers, He made different groups of buyers, and we're going to talk about them briefly. The first one is the individual investor. And the individual investor cares about one thing, and that's your bottom line. He or she does not care how much money you make. He or she cares about how much money you keep. So if your top line is $75 gazillion, that particular investor is looking at how much of that $75 gazillion goes into your pocket. And then that investor is likely to offer you a number somewhere between 1 and 5, which is a whole different discussion of how that person will come up with that. Multiply the cash flow, or we call seller's discretionary earnings, and that will likely be that individual's offer to you. The second type of buyer would be a larger company that already exists either in your industry or in a similar industry, and that company may not care so much about your bottom line because they have their own expense structure. They may be buying you just to get your $75 gazillion of sales from your customers. They don't really need to worry themselves with how much your cost of goods are or how much you pay for insurance, because they have those expenses figured out. And in that case, they'll be looking at offering you a percentage of your total sales. The third type of buyer is what we call a strategic buyer. A strategic buyer is an unknown, a wild card. We're not really sure what that person is up to. And what I mean by that is they're not buying the business just so they can run it similar to the way you've been running it, with a tweak here or a tweak there. Instead, they have something up their sleeve. They may be looking to buy that business so that they can launch their product that's going to change the world. And to do that, they need a platform, they need a location, they need a current set of clients that you may offer. To the strategic buyer, there's really no telling what your business is worth, and there's not much we can do as the seller to prepare for that. The one exception is if we know that your business would likely sell best to a strategic buyer, the one thing you can do is leave the price tag blank. Make a strategic buyer make you an offer first. Okay, the number one rule of negotiations is the first person that presents a number loses. Well, oftentimes in business sales, we have no choice. We have to put a number out there. This is what we're asking. But if we know we're targeting a strategic buyer and leaving the other groups aside, well, guess what? We're not going to put a price tag on that. We're going to present the information and tell the strategic buyer, excuse me, make us an offer. The fourth type of buyer, which is very uncommon in most places around the world, but not that uncommon here in Hawaii, is the uninformed buyer. Okay? And I say that lovingly. If you're an uninformed buyer out there, we still can be friends, and I still think that you should pursue a business acquisition, but you don't know what you're doing. And you're likely to overpay for something because you're looking to buy a lifestyle and not a business. I don't know if this happens in North Dakota, but it does happen in Hawaii. We see people coming out to Hawaii who are retired, semi-retired, and more than a business, they're looking for a lifestyle. And there are many businesses in Hawaii that can offer that lifestyle. And therefore, for particular industries that have a little bit of cachet to them, I don't even, is cachet the right word there? I wanted to say sexy, but then I tried to get cute. I really mean, if it's a sexy business, if it's something you could imagine somebody from North Dakota coming out to Hawaii and buying, there's some value there too, which kind of creates another group of buyers. And the last group of buyers that I'm going to talk about, which applies here in Hawaii and I'm sure on the mainland as well, are the investors that are looking for a visa. There are several programs that our government offers that exchanges a visa for a business investment. And I will tell you that it is my observation and experience that the willingness of these buyers to just write checks for businesses that may be failing or maybe overvalued, just here, take my money so I can get a visa, is way overblown. There's a great opportunity to sell businesses here in Hawaii to international investors looking to participate in the E2 visa program or the E5 visa program, known as the green card. But please, if you've heard rumors that it's just sort of like free cash and you get $1 million for a business that's worth $200,000, it's just not true. We have found international buyers to be just as there's a word that I'm looking for, and I can't find it right now. But we have found international investors to be just as discerning, if not more so, than domestic investors. So there's your five groups of buyers and how that affects the business valuation. And it's our job when we represent you to look at your business to determine which of those five groups we should be marketing and which of those five groups should we be using to best value your business. My name is Matt DiGeronimo. I'm with Smith Floyd here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Thanks for joining us.